Hello and welcome to Converting Measures Lesson 4. And this is all about converting from miles to kilometres and back again. So the basic fact that you need to know for this lesson is that 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres. And that squiggly line that looks like a couple of waves or a wiggly equal sign means equals approximately. So using that fact, can you work out approximately how many kilometres there are in 15 miles, 30 miles, and then the other way around, how many miles is approximately 160 kilometres? And the work that you've done on ratio should help you with this a little bit. Okay, so we know 5 miles is 8 kilometres. So we want 15 miles. That's 3 times as many miles. So if you multiply the 8 kilometres by 3, that will give you the answer, 24. For the next one, to get 30 miles, that's 6 times as many miles. So if we multiply the kilometres by 6, 6 eighths are 48. Or you could, of course, just double the previous answer. And for the last one, to get from 8 kilometres to 160 kilometres, you'd need to multiply by 20. So if we do the same with the miles, 20 times 5, 100 miles. So moving on, if we know that 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres, then 10 miles will be approximately 16 kilometres because we've doubled both of them. So how could you work out 1 mile, 2 miles, 4 miles and 0.5 miles using the fact that you know? Okay, so to get from 10 miles to 1 mile, we divide by 10. So we need to do the same with the kilometres. So that gives us 1.6 kilometres. And then for all the other ones, I worked them out from that 1 mile, rather like when we did percentages and we found out what 10% was and then worked out lots of other ones from that. So if 1 mile is 1.6, 2 miles will be double, 3.2. 4 miles will be double again, 6.4. And half a mile will be half of the 1 mile, 0.8 kilometres. Here's an example of when you might actually need to use this in real life if you're going on holiday. Because in the UK, our speed limit on a motorway is 70 mph. That stands for miles per hour. So at that speed, you would travel for 70 miles for every hour that you drive. And our speedometers in the car show miles per hour. But if you go to France, the speed limit is given in kilometres per hour and it's 130 is the fastest you can go. So the question is, which country has got the higher speed limit? Which one can you go fastest in and by how much? And can you give your answer in both miles per hour and kilometres per hour? Okay, this takes quite some working out. The UK one I found quite straightforward. That we can drive 70 miles per hour and we know that 10 miles per hour is about 16 kilometres per hour. So to get 70 miles per hour, you would multiply your 16 by 7, giving you 112 kilometres per hour. So straight away we can see that the French is faster, but by how much? So I've also done a conversion of the French kilometres per hour, which is a bit more tricky, because we know that 1 mile is the same as 1.6 kilometres. But we need to know for 130 kilometres per hour. So I need to do a division. I need to divide 130 by 1.6. So I've decided to get rid of my decimal point, make it easier by multiplying both of those numbers by 10. So my division is going to be 1,300 divided by 16, which is quite a nasty long division. I'll leave it there for you to have a look at. I've helped myself by doing multiples of 16 at the side there. And I've used the arrow method. And I've calculated that it's 81.2 miles per hour. So the answer to our question is that the French speed limit is higher by either 18 kilometres per hour, because 130 take away 112 is 18, or by 11.2 miles per hour. Here's another time when you might need to use this for real. When you're running. Thomas and Adam, two of my main cross-country boys, are running a 5-mile race. Thomas has run 6.4 kilometres so far. Adam has run 3.8 miles so far. Who's got the furthest left to run? So, using what we know that 10 miles is approximately 16 kilometres, and this is a 5-mile race, so that's going to be approximately 8 kilometres. Thomas has run 6.4 kilometres so far, and Adam has run 3.8 miles. So I'm going to work on Adam's first because that's already in miles, and we know it's a 5-mile race. 5 miles minus 3.8 miles means he's got 1.2 miles left to go. For Thomas, I'm going to use my 8 kilometres, being about 5 miles. 8 kilometres minus the 6.4 that he's run already means he's got 1.6 kilometres left to go. So the question is, which of those is greater, 1.2 miles or 1.6 kilometres? But we know that 1.6 kilometres is approximately a mile, which means that Adam, who's got 1.2 miles left to go, has got a bit further than Thomas. Go Thomas. Next question. The distance from Cardiff to London is 240 kilometres. A car is going 60 miles per hour. So how long will it take to get to Cardiff from London at that speed? Here's one way you could solve it. We know it's got to go 240 kilometres, and we need to know how many miles that is to compare it with our miles per hour. We know 8 kilometres is about 5 miles. So if we divide how many 8 kilometres there are in 240, we'll find out there's 30 lots of them. So if we multiply our 5 miles by 30, that'll give us 150. So 240 kilometres is approximately 150 miles. Now we know the car's going at 60 miles an hour. It's got to go 150 miles at that speed. So let's divide 150 by 60, and that gives us 2.5 hours. That's one way of solving the problem, or you could convert everything into kilometres. I'll show you that in a moment. This is the other way. We know that 60 miles is, we're trying to work out how many kilometres 60 miles is. We know that 10 miles is about 16 kilometres. 10 times 6 gives us 60. So 16 times 6 will give us 96. So it would be 96 kilometres. And then if we divide our 240 kilometre distance by 96 kilometres per hour, it will also give us 2.5 hours. And this is the last challenge for today. Sam cycles 45 miles in 3 days. On day 1, he goes 16 kilometres. On day 2, he goes 10 miles more than that. How much does he cycle on day 3? And you need your answer in both kilometres and in miles. Okay, so on day 1, he cycles 16 kilometres, and we know that that is about 10 miles. On day 2, he does 10 miles more than that. So 10 miles plus 10 miles, so that's 20 miles. So far he's done 30 miles out of his 45, which means that on day 3, he goes another 15 miles. To convert that into kilometres, we need to remember that 5 miles is approximately 8 kilometres, so therefore 15 miles, which is 3 times as much, would be 3/8 of 24 kilometres. Okay, now I hope you're getting to grips with this now. We've got one more lesson on converting measures. Bye.